Okay, let's look at our gospel progression where we're showcasing some altered chords. This is part 2, and you're going to see some familiar elements in this chord progression that we had in the first one, and let's take a look at those. Okay, so we're in the key of E flat major, and we're going to be using these 7 different notes, and remember that these 7 different colors represent numbers and not notes. We're going to be doing the 1-6-2-5 chord progression just like we did before. Okay, we're starting out on the 1 chord just as we did before. E flat in our left hand. This is our 1 chord, E flat major. Just a simple spread out voicing of an E flat major chord. E flat our left hand. Our right hand we have G, B flat, and E flat. And then we have the 4 over the 1, just like we did this little vamp before. Our left hand is playing an E flat 7 in a shell voicing. In our right hand, we're playing A flat 2. We're playing a A flat major triad with the added second. And then back to the 1 chord again, the same voicing. Okay, now we're going to play a couple of chords before we proceed on, and this is E flat minor 7. Now I know that we're in the key of E flat major, but what we're going to do is we're going to just retain this E flat in our left hand. In our right hand, we're going to play a B flat, a D flat, and a G flat. It's E flat minor 7. If you take a look at this chord in our right hand, it's essentially a G flat major chord in first inversion because the root is on top. And then we're going to play a flat 7 chord over a 1. So essentially we're keeping the E flat in our left hand. In our right hand, we're playing a D flat major chord in second inversion. So we have A flat, D flat, and F. And that's really the simplest way to notate that. Okay, so before going to the 6th chord, we're going to take a new detour. And I'm going to explain that now. So our detour today is going to be altered chords. Just a few things about altered chords. They're very dissonant sounding chords. They're a lot like the diminished 7th chords. They have a different character to them. They're transitional chords, also known as passing chords, like diminished 7th chords are. They have this unstable effect to them. They want to resolve somewhere, and they add tension. And when that tension is resolved, that really creates a very interesting sounding chord progression. So here's a couple of examples of altered chords. Here we have a C7 chord, also known as a C dominant 7th chord, and we have the root 3rd, 5th, and the dominant 7th. And if we want to create an altered chord out of this, one example is we could take this 5th here, this G, and we could lower it a half step. And if we do that, we have C7 flat 5. Here we have a C9 chord, and if we want to make an altered chord out of this, we can just take the 9th here for as an example. We could do a lot of things to make an altered chord, but we're just going to take the 9th and we're going to raise it up a half step. If we do that, we have we have C7 sharp 9. Okay, so here's some things about our altered chords. Number 1, they're almost always major chords. Now you can have altered chords that are minor, but the ones that we're looking at today are major. Another thing about altered chords is they always contain the dominant 7th. No matter where they're major or minor, they contain the dominant 7th in them. Now I'm going to give you a way to understand altered chords that is probably the simplest that I can probably think of. You have 2 notes that are in any key of music or that are in any chord in which altered chords or altered tones, shall I say, are just a half step away. Can you guess what those 2 notes are? Well, they're the 9th and the 5th. You see, if I raise or lower a 9th, I'm altering the chord, and that's a half step away from the 9th. I can have a sharp 9 or a flat 9. If I raise or lower the 5th, I can create an altered chord, sharp 5, flat 5. Any combination. But these altered tones are a half step away from, just remember, the 9th and the 5th. Okay, so our 6th chord here today is going to be the C7 sharp 9 sharp 5, and this is how we're going to voice it. We're going to take the C in our left hand. In our right hand, we're going to be playing the E, the G sharp, the B flat, and the D sharp. Okay, so this G is our G, this G sharp is our sharp 5, this B flat is our dominant 7th, and this D sharp is our sharp 9. Okay, so we're going to go to the 2, but before we go to the 2, let's play a passing chord on the flat 2. So here we have on the flat 2, E9, flat 5. We're going to play our E in our left hand. In our right hand, we're going to play our F sharp, our G sharp, and we're going to play our B flat and our D. So this is our second, third. This is our flat 5, and this is our dominant 7th, E9, flat 5. Okay, so here we are at the 2 chord, and it's just a plain F minor 7 chord. It's going to sound really good when you go to a minor chord from an altered chord. So we have the root in our left hand, and our right hand we have A flat, C, and E flat. And as you can see, this F minor 7, if we just look in the right hand alone, it's an A flat major chord over an F. So can you see how you can take a chord, change the note in the bass, and have a completely different chord? So this is our 2 chord, F minor 7. Well, we're going to go to the 5, but before we do so, we're going to play this very familiar A diminished 7th chord. And so this is the same chord that we used in our last gospel progression. So we have the root and the diminished 7th, that's A and G flat in our left hand. And our right hand, we're going to have A, C, E flat, and G flat. So it's just a stack of minor thirds up here. And of course, you have the root and the diminished 7th here. The same chord that we played before. All right, now we have the 4 over the 5. That's going to lead us back to the 1 chord. In our left hand, we're just playing a B flat power chord, B flat and F. In our right hand, we're playing A flat, C, and E flat. This is essentially a B flat 11 chord, but I notated it this way just for simplicity's sake. And here we are back at the 1 chord, E flat major, same voicing that we started on. Okay, so let's take a look at this second gospel progression on the keys. Here's part 2 of our gospel progression, where we're going to look at a couple of altered chords. So we're going to start out exactly like we did before. And then we're going to play a couple of triads in our right hand to get us down to the 6. So we're going to do this. Okay? All right, now that's a G flat major chord, and it's based on the minor third of E flat. See? 1, 2, 3, and then there's your minor third, so it's okay, G flat major over the E flat. This is a D flat major chord, and it's based on the 7th, the dominant 7th of E flat, which is a whole step below E flat. So we're playing a major chord based on it. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, now this is the altered chord that I want to showcase here. It's C7 sharp 9 sharp 5. So this is just like the chord that we played in the last video where we were doing this gospel progression, except for this one's not on F, this one's on C. All right, so here we have C. We have E, well this is our root, C is our root, E is our third, we have a G sharp, which is our sharp 5, we have B flat, which is our dominant 7th, and then we have D sharp, which is our sharp 9, it's our sharp 9, sharp 5. You can bounce off of that if you want to, but I have a tendency to be creative with such things, so. And then we're going to go to the flat 9th tone and create an altered chord out of it. Do you know what the flat 9 is? Well, if we're in the key of E flat, okay, we know that the flat 9 is the same as a flat 2, but it's mostly referred to as a flat 9. So here's E flat, right? 1, 2, and then just flat that. So we're going to play a chord based off of E. Okay. And then we're going to play Now this sounds like a really weird sounding chord, but it's leading somewhere. So this is an E, okay, an E9 flat 5. Flat 5 is this tone here, this B flat, okay? We're just going up to an F minor 7. There's our F, you know, that's our 2 chord, an E flat, and then we're playing A flat, C, E flat, okay? Essentially just an A flat major over an F. And then we're going to do the same thing to get to our 5 chord. We're going to do the same exact thing as we did before, where we're going to approach our 5 chord the same way that we did in the last video where we were showcasing the diminished 7th chords. And we're going to play a diminished 7th, okay? You're familiar with this one here. And then to the 4 over 5, you're familiar with that one too, so because we did that before. And then back to the 1. Here's the whole thing. Just a little creativeness there, sliding off of the minor 3rd onto the major 3rd while playing the root, whatever you want to do. Altered chords, and the ones we were using was 7, sharp 9, sharp 5, and 9, flat 5. I want to send you the 5-step visual guide to learn how to play piano and keyboards with chords. It's very colorful, it's very illustrative, and I'll also send you a free subscription to the Color Notes e-zine. Just click on the link in the description.